Hey everyone, before we dive into today's video, I want to give you guys a heads up. If you're not a fan of eerie tales or scary topics, this might not be the video for you. Feel free to click away if you are easily spooked. And if you'd like to support our channel, please hit the like and subscribe button so you can get notified whenever we upload a new video. With that being said, let's begin. It was summer of 2019 before COVID hit. My parents decided that since all of our siblings are home for summer, we should all go camping together. The day came, and when we got to our camping site, we started to unpack everything. Our campsite is located right next to a clear lake where you can go canoeing. The first day we were just settling in, so we didn't do much but set up all our tents and started cooking. And of course, we made kapong that night. And eating kapong at camp for some reason just tastes way better. The next day came, and my sisters and I planned to go canoeing in the lake, and after that we planned to go sunbathing. When I was in my tent changing into my bathing suit, I felt a cramp in my abdomen. I checked my underwear and saw that I got my period, but I was prepared because I knew that around this time of the month is usually when I get it. My sisters and I got together and drove down to the lake. The four of us decided that we all could just get into one canoe. When we were getting into the canoe, I told my sisters that I'll be at the end of the canoe to steer. But really, I wanted to sit at the end just in case I started leaking and no one will see. We started paddling away and exploring the whole lake. The lake was so clear that you can see the fishes hiding in the long lake weed at the bottom of the lake. 30 minutes into paddling, we felt a big thump right under our canoe. We looked at each other and thought that maybe we just went over a fallen tree trunk, or maybe we were in a shallow area and scraped the rocks. But when we looked over, there was nothing. The water was dark blue because we were actually floating over the deepest part of the lake. We were all puzzled because there was no explanation of what that loud thump under the canoe was, so we decided to go back to shore. While pedaling, I thought about what my mom had told me once. She said that if any of us female is on our monthly, then we should stay away from any body of water. Doesn't matter if you're fishing or swimming, just don't get close to the water. She also stated that the reason is it will attract dragons from the body of water to come to you and maybe even do something bad to you. I never told anyone that day that I was on my period while we were canoeing. I don't want to think that what hit our canoe that day was a dragon because it'll just scare me even more. Even until this day, I never get close to any body of water whenever I'm on my monthly. Do you guys agree too that it could have been a dragon? What are your thoughts about this Hmong superstitious thinking? I love to jog a lot, especially on cool summer evenings. This one time I went jogging by myself around 6 p.m. and once I hit my 2-mile mark, I usually turn back around. So on this particular day when I hit my 2-mile mark, I turned around going back towards the parking lot. It was already about 7:45. The sun was setting in the sky. All that is left is the orange ray still beaming. I started jogging faster since it was getting darker by the second. On that day, there wasn't a lot of people jogging on the trail. I was basically alone by the time I started jogging back to the parking lot. When I got to the 1-mile mark, I heard some loud footsteps behind me. I got curious and looked back. As I looked back, I saw an old white guy about 100 feet behind me. It spooked me because I know there was no one else around me. And where could he have come from? Both sides of the trail is surrounded by wooded areas. I started to get scared and I started running. I ran for about 2 miles thinking that I am far enough from him and now there's no way this guy can catch up to me. But when I looked back, he was now 50 feet away from me. Although it was dark that night, I can see that his eyes were so hollowed out that his whole eye socket was just black. I got so shaken up my whole body went limp. As much as I wanted to run faster, it was like someone or something is stopping my energy from making me run quicker. Or like what Hmong people would say, "Bông pli." I dare not to look back as I got closer to my car. I got inside my car so quick I didn't even know that the end of my ponytail was caught in the door when I slammed it. I looked around the empty parking lot and the entrance of the trail to see if I can see any old guy. I was hoping to see him so I can conclude that he was just a person and not a ghost. I waited 5 minutes and saw nothing. Was what I saw a real ghost, or is it just my imagination playing tricks on me? When I was little back in the 90s, my family and we lived in those huge apartment complexes that a lot of Hmong people live as well. Our closest friends were mainly the other Hmong kids that live in the same apartment building as us. Every night we would come out and play at the playground that was built for the residents of the apartments. Back in the days, we were able to play until night came. We were able to do that because it only takes us 2 minutes to walk home. One night, we all were playing hide and seek until it was time for dinner, and everyone started to part their own ways. My good friend and I were the last two to part ways. As I was walking back home, I heard a faint voice calling my name.
Bye.
I thought it was my friend, so I said, "Achina," and turned around. But no one was there. No one was behind me or around me. There was only the sound of the wind howling in the night. A cold shiver went up my spine, and every hair on my body stood up. I then darted home and didn't tell my parents. Days later, I got so sick. I had a fever. I wasn't able to keep any food down. My parents asked me, have I encountered anything paranormal? I lied to them and said no. Maybe I got sick because I kept playing outside and the weather keeps changing. So my parents never shayai or huplitoku because I didn't tell them the truth about that night. Years passed, and when I was in high school, my Hmong friends and we were talking about scary stories, and one of them mentioned about never answering anyone who calls your name at night. Because if you answer them, that means that you have consented for them to take your spirit away. When he mentioned that, I got the shivers again, because my memories brought me back to that dark, scary night, and that raspy whisper that said my name. Has anyone ever experienced something similar to me? If you have, please share so I can come read the comments and know that I am not the only one that went through this.